Hi, I'm Gunjan and I am having 7 years of an experience in education industry. I have 2 years experience in teaching, and 1 year in corporate. I will be joining as the mentor for the program, and now uh, after my brief introduction, I'm going to introduce myself as a teacher to all the students who have been taught in this program. And today's my topic is concept of demand. Demand is a very common word and everybody understands the meaning. So in the simple word, I can say demand is basically a thing whenever we want something for our satisfaction, for our fulfillment, that is called a demand. Let's discuss in brief about the definition and the meaning of the demand. Demand is basically a willingness and ability to pay for a commodity. Demand is something, if we want something, say if we need clothes and we have an ability, we have money to pay for the clothes, then that is called a demand. Demand is a desire to acquire something. It is a willingness also to pay for something, and it's an ability is being required to get the things. So demand in brief is related to the willingness and ability. Demand is basically a function. If we talk about it in an economics term, then it is a function of an algebraic expression. Demand dx, as if you can see, is demand for the x item. Say for a bread is an x item, and for that the price of the x item is a p. It is a function of a price. It's a function of a substitute price of a substitute good. It's a function of a price of a complementary goods and the income of the consumer. T denotes a taste and the preferences for the consumer, and E is a price expectation of a user, and U are all the factors. That means demand is a function of all these factors while taking into the consideration if you need something, then you have to consider all these factors. That means price, the price of the substitute good, price of a complementary good, the income, and the taste and the preferences, as well as the expectation of the user. I hope demand function is clear to you all. Determinants of demand. Determinants of demands are as follows. The price of a commodity is first and foremost factor. If you want to get something, you have to pay for the price. So, and the demand is depend on the price. Like say, if the price of the oranges are going up in the winter season, then the demand will be less, and if the price come down, the demand will go up. So the price is related to the demand. Price of a commodities, related commodities, substitute goods is also affecting the demand. Like say substitute goods are those goods which we require in place of others. If you require, if the, say for example the price of a tea has gone up, then you're going to purchase a coffee in substitute of a tea. The price of a complementary goods, if say for example you are getting something free for a good, like suppose you are getting one pen free with the marker, so that is a complementary good. So the price really depends of the demand for these related commodities. Income of consumer. income of the consumer is of course a very important factor in considering the demand. If you have money, then only you pay the price for the good. The taste and the preferences of the consumer. The taste and the preferences are basically an important factor in considering the demand. Say you like Coke, so the then only if you like Coke, then only you demand Coke only if you go somewhere for the drink. So it's totally depend on the taste and the preferences of the consumer and expectation for the future price. If you're expected that the future price of say gold are going up in 2000 say 20, when you purchase a product, you purchase the gold these days as if the prices are going down. So the demand is totally depend again the price and expectation of the product. The next determinant would be the size and the regional distribution of a population. If this population size is large, then the demand will be high. Say you are living in a Delhi, the demand of the products will be high as if mostly the population is educated and they are self-earners. So the demand would be high for the products being demanded in the daily life of a working class people. Again, the compositions really matter for the population. If the composition, say educated population is there, the demand of the educated products would be high, as if the population is very well aware of the products which is available in the market. Then the distribution of the income, say there are many stratas of the income like higher class, lower class and middle class. So the distribution of the income determines the demand. If the higher class people are there in the market at a higher rate, then their demand will be for getting more expensive clothes, more expensive watches or many other items. So the distribution of the income in the group determines the demand, as if the income is being distributed on the basis of the earning capacity of a person. Now, the causes for the change is the demand. Now, the question is why there is a change in the demand? Why there is an increase in the demand? Why there is a decrease in the demand? Increase in the demand is just because of a reason, income and the wealth of the people. If the income is high, definitely demand for the product will be high. If the number of population would be high in a particular city, the demand for the product will be high. If the price of the substitute good in other case is high, then the demand would be less. And if the prices of the substitute goods are low, demand would be increases. And the price of the complementary good would be decreased, then the demand would be high. Expectation, as if I already told you, there is a expected that in future the prices of the product will going to increase and you are going to purchase a product these days. And the changes in the taste and the preferences, as if you have a taste for say Coke, then your demand would be to getting the Coke every time you have a habit of drinking it. So the demand depends on these factors. Another thing, if we talk about the decrease in the demand, is about the increase and if the income and the wealth of the people will be low, then there is a decrease in the demand, as if the person does not have money to buy the clothes, then the demand will be less. In the population, say the population is low, demand for the product will be low. Again, the prices of the substitute goods are low, then the demand will be low. And if the prices of the complex goods will be high, the demand will decrease. And expectations for the fall in the future prices, again, if they expected that the prices would be fall in the near future, the demand will be less these days. And the taste changes in the taste and the preferences. If you don't prefer drinks uh, as per your taste, the demand will not be high for that particular product. I hope you understand why there is an increase and a decrease in the demand. Let's learn about the characteristics of the demand. Demand is always a reference to the price, as if we always calculate the demand on the basis of the price. Demand is referred to a given period of a time. Demand we calculate on the basis of a particular time. Consumer have a necessary purchasing power, that too is backed by an ability to buy the product. That is very important. And consumer must also be ready to exchange for a money in commodity in question. Means a consumer should have a money to get the things in exchange out of it. Now let's discuss very important topic, that's the law of a demand. Law of a demand is basically shows a relationship between the price and the quantity demanded, while the other things are remaining same, as if we can see in this diagram very clearly. Quantity is given in the horizontal side and the price is given in the vertical side. If the price of the good is less, the demand would be high. The maximum quantity demanded is M1. And if the price falls, the quantity demanded will be high. And if the price increase, the quantity demanded comes to NM, that is less. So that's why this demand curve slopes downward also. We'll discuss it later in details as well. Now, what would be the reasons of demand curve sloping downward? As if you can see here, demand curve is sloping downward. Now let's discuss the reason. First is a diminishing marginal utility, as if you keep on consuming the commodity, consumption of the commodity, the demand would be less. It's diminishing. The income effect, of course, income also affects the demand. Substitution effect, the substitution goods also affect the demands, as if the substitute good we have discussed in change in the demand, increase in the demand and decrease in the demand. The prices of the substitute goods goes up, the demand would be less, and that goes down, the demand would be high. Changes in the number of a consumer, the demand also goes down, as if the taste and the preferences of the consumer will change. And diverse uses of the commodity, if the commodity have a diverse uses, definitely demand will be less or it may be high. Now let's discuss the movement along the demand curve. While the demand curve is moving down, as if you can see, the demand curve is moving downward. As if the prices are going to increase, the demand curve slopes downwards. And if the prices decrease, the demand curves, the quantity demanded would be high and it slopes again downward. So let's discuss why there is a shift in the demand curve. As if already we have discussed that the prices decrease will increase the demand and the prices increase will decrease the demand. So there is a shift in the demand curves toward the left side. It's putting a pressure. If the prices go high, the quantity demanded would be less, and if that is less, it will going to shift in the left side. So this is all about my topic. I hope you understand the topic, and in case we will have again a meeting, we'll definitely discuss the more in details. Thank you so much.